Hello there, and welcome to Smart Student TV, the only channel where academic and professional prowess is nurtured right from the comfort of your living room. Whether you are a student striving for excellence, a professional looking to sharpen your skills, or simply a lifelong learner, you are in the right place. In today's tutorial, we dive into another very crucial topic: laboratory safety and housekeeping. Laboratories are dynamic spaces where science meets innovation, discovery, and education. However, they also harbor potential risks if safety protocols and good housekeeping practices are neglected. Ensuring safety and maintaining a clean, organized environment is fundamental to protecting lives, preserving resources, and achieving meaningful outcomes in any laboratory setting. Laboratory safety extends far beyond wearing protective gear. It encompasses the understanding and implementation of proper procedures, hazard awareness, and effective management of the workspace. Similarly, housekeeping is not just about cleanliness but also about the organization, systematic waste management, and the establishment of efficient workflows. Together, safety and housekeeping create an environment that fosters productivity, reduces risks, and complies with ethical and legal standards. Why is laboratory safety important? Safety is the cornerstone of any successful laboratory operation. Accidents in the laboratory can result in severe injuries, loss of valuable data, damage to equipment, or even fatalities. By prioritizing safety, laboratories ensure 1. Protection of personnel from chemical, biological, and physical hazards. 2. Prevention of contamination that can compromise experiments or lead to harmful exposure. 3. Preservation of the laboratory environment and adherence to regulatory requirements. What is the role of housekeeping in laboratory management? Effective housekeeping goes hand in hand with safety. A well-maintained laboratory reduces the likelihood of accidents, such as slips, trips, and falls, and minimizes risks associated with clutter, spills, or improper storage of materials. Housekeeping practices ensure that 1. Tools and equipment are stored systematically, making them easily accessible when needed. 2. Waste, including hazardous materials, is disposed of appropriately and promptly. 3. The laboratory remains a professional and inviting space conducive to learning and discovery. Objectives of this chapter. This tutorial aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of laboratory safety and housekeeping by addressing the following. 1. Understanding laboratory hazards. Learn to identify common hazards such as chemical spills, fire risks, biological contaminants, and improper equipment use. 2. Implementing safety measures. Explore essential safety protocols, including personal protective equipment, PPE, signage, emergency procedures, and proper handling techniques for hazardous substances. 3. Establishing housekeeping standards. Discuss the principles of effective housekeeping, including storage solutions, cleaning schedules, waste disposal methods, and organization tips. 4. Creating a culture of responsibility. Emphasize the importance of individual and collective accountability in maintaining a safe and clean laboratory environment. But why does this topic matters? Safety is the state of being safe, the condition of being protected from harm or other non-desirable outcomes. Safety can also refer to the control of recognized hazards in order to achieve an acceptable level of risk. A safe and well-kept laboratory is not just a legal requirement but also a professional standard. It enhances efficiency by reducing time spent searching for tools or addressing avoidable mishaps. Moreover, it sets a tone of discipline and respect for the space, inspiring confidence among users and visitors alike. A safe and healthy workplace not only protects workers from injury and illness, it can also lower injury or illness costs, reduce absenteeism and turnover, increase productivity and quality, and raise employee morale. Housekeeping may be defined as provision of a clean, comfortable, safe, and aesthetically appealing environment. Why do most people fail to observe laboratory safety? Despite the inherent dangers of laboratory work, many individuals fail to observe safety protocols. The reasons for this can include 1. Lack of awareness or training. Many laboratory users, especially newcomers, are unaware of the risks and safety measures required in a laboratory environment. 2. Complacency. Experienced individuals may develop a false sense of security, believing that accidents will not happen to them. 3. Time pressure. Tight deadlines or workloads can lead to shortcuts that compromise safety. 4. Neglect of protocols. Some people may intentionally disregard safety rules, considering them cumbersome or unnecessary. 5. Poor leadership or oversight. A lack of enforcement by supervisors or management can lead to a lax safety culture. Consequences of not observing laboratory safety. Failing to adhere to safety protocols can result in dire consequences, including 1. Injuries and fatalities. Accidents involving chemicals, equipment, or biological agents can cause burns, poisoning, infections, or even death. 2. Damage to equipment and property. Fires, explosions, and spills can destroy valuable equipment and infrastructure. 3. Environmental contamination. Improper waste disposal or accidents can lead to pollution, affecting the wider environment. 4. Legal and financial implications. Non-compliance with safety regulations can result in hefty fines, lawsuits, or loss of licenses. 5. Loss of reputation. Institutions with poor safety records may face diminished credibility and trust. Why safety? As a laboratory technician, you are the one in charge of safety in your workplace. You must ensure that all operations and conditions in the laboratory will minimize the danger of injury and illness through accident, neglect, ignorance, vandalism, lack of planning, or foresight. You must know the hazards associated with the operations you are doing, and you must follow the safety rules. Proper organization and planning is key to ensuring safety in your lab. Safety can also be ensured by following all laboratory safety protocols such as wearing appropriate protective clothing and following laboratory instructions. It also demands for being vigilant and taking precautions against all forms of mechanical, chemical, biological, radiation, fire, or electrical and hazards. Personal safety in the laboratory requires that you behave in a manner that will ensure and promote your safety as well as those you are working. If you want to avoid frequent accidents, you must set up a set of safety rules to be followed that include 1. Dress code. 2. Safety signs. 3. Avoid food and beverages in lab. 4. Proper disposal of lab waste. 5. Follow instructions. Laboratory technicians play a critical role in ensuring the smooth functioning of a laboratory. By adopting the following strategies, technicians can enhance orderliness, ensure safety, and increase efficiency in their workplace. 1. Develop and maintain organizational systems. Implement a standardized system for storing chemicals, tools, and equipment. Label all storage areas clearly to prevent confusion. Use inventory management software to track supplies and avoid shortages or overstocking. Schedule regular audits to ensure materials are in their designated locations and check for expired or damaged items. 2. Promote a safety-first culture. Conduct regular safety training sessions for all laboratory users, including students and staff. Lead by example by consistently following safety protocols and encouraging others to do the same. Establish a reporting system for safety concerns or incidents and act promptly to address them. 3. Optimize workflow and minimize clutter. Arrange workstations to align with the flow of tasks, ensuring that frequently used items are within easy reach. Encourage a clean-as-you-go policy to maintain tidy workspaces throughout the day. Create separate zones for hazardous and non-hazardous activities to minimize risks. 4. Ensure equipment is well maintained. Develop a maintenance schedule for all laboratory equipment and keep detailed logs of inspections and repairs. Train staff on the proper use of equipment to reduce wear and tear and prevent accidents. Replace faulty or outdated equipment promptly to maintain operational efficiency. 5. Emphasize proper waste management. Provide labeled containers for different types of waste and educate users on proper disposal procedures. Work with waste management services to ensure hazardous materials are disposed of in compliance with regulations. Monitor waste disposal practices regularly to identify and correct any issues. 6. Utilize visual aids and signage. Post safety signs and guidelines in visible areas to reinforce protocols. Use color-coded labels or charts to categorize chemicals and reagents effectively. Display emergency contact numbers and procedures prominently for quick reference. 7. Foster collaboration and communication. Encourage open communication among laboratory users to share ideas and address concerns. Hold regular meetings to discuss safety updates, workflow improvements, and housekeeping practices. Collaborate with management to secure resources needed for maintaining a safe and efficient laboratory environment. Basic laboratory safety rules. 1. Use of proper protective clothing, e.g. goggles, face masks, gloves, and lab coats is a must when in the laboratory. 2. Long hair, ties, and loose cloths must be tied or pinned up. 3. Do not run or engage in risk activities while in the laboratory. 4. No eating, drinking, or smoking in the lab. 5. Wash your hands before and after leaving the laboratory. 6. Do not leave or walk out of the lab while wearing laboratory PPEs. 7. Always ensure there is proper ventilation and lighting and all aisles are free from obstructions. 8. Always stick to the instructions. 9. If corrosive liquids touch your skin or chemicals gets into your eye, wash thoroughly with water and notify the instructor or teacher immediately. 10. Ensure that your working surfaces and surrounding is kept clean, tidy, and well organized before, during, and after lab work. 11. Do not mouth pipette. Use a pipette filler. 12. Ensure that only labeled reagents, chemicals, and specimens are used. 13. Do not carry out experiment whose reaction you are not sure about without consulting your instructor. Safety before starting practical session. Before starting to work in a laboratory, familiarize yourself with the following. 1. The hazards of the materials in the lab, as well as appropriate safe handling, storage, and emergency protocols. 2. Read labels and material safety data sheets, MSDSs, before moving, handling, or opening chemicals. 3. Never use a product from an unlabeled container. 4. If you are unsure of any aspect of a procedure, check with your supervisor before proceeding. 5. Also check for location and operation of safety and emergency equipment such as fire extinguishers, first aid kits, eye wash, and emergency exits. Safety during laboratory work. 1. Wear appropriate personal protective clothing at all times. 2. Keep workplaces clean and free of unwanted chemicals. 3. Ensure there is maximum ventilation and lighting and that all passageways and emergency exits are free from obstructions. 4. Restrict the laboratory access to authorized persons only. 5. Avoid smoking, eating, drinking, or even chewing anything. 6. Work only with materials once you know their properties, e.g. flammability, reactivity, toxicity, safe handling, storage, and emergency procedures. 7. Read labels carefully and label everything you take. 8. To avoid contamination, never put your pipette or spatula into a reagent bottle and never return unused chemicals to their bottles. 9. Always add acid to water, not the reverse. Never add water to acid. This can produce a lot of heat and dangerous spattering. 10. Do not taste chemicals. If told to smell a chemical, do so by carefully fanning the top of the test tube or bottle so that a little of the vapor is directed towards your nose. 11. Wash your hands thoroughly before leaving the laboratory. 12. Conduct procedures involving the release of volatile toxic or flammable materials in a chemical fume hood. 13. Perform procedures that liberate infectious bioaerosols in a biological safety cabinet. 14. Handle all human blood and body fluids as if potentially infectious. 15. Prepare and maintain a chemical inventory for the lab. 16. Never pipette by mouth. Use mechanical transfer devices. 17. Walk. Do not run, in the lab. 18. Keep exits and passageways clear at all times. 19. Ensure that access to emergency equipment, eye washes, safety showers, and fire extinguishers is not blocked. 20. Report accidents and dangerous incidents promptly to your supervisor. Safety after laboratory work. It is important to perform a safety check at the end of each experiment and before leaving the lab. Make sure to 1. Turn off gas, water, electricity, vacuum and compression lines and heating apparatus. 2. Return unused materials, equipment and apparatus to their proper storage locations. 3. label, package, and dispose of all waste material properly. 4. Remove defective or damaged equipment immediately, and arrange to have it repaired or replaced. Common laboratory decency. Demand that all waste be disposed of safely and legally. If in doubt, ask your supervisor. 1. Clean up all chemical spills as soon as they happen. 2. If you break a mercury thermometer, follow the necessary cleaning protocols. Mercury is toxic and must be cleaned up promptly and in the correct way. 3. Do not waste gas, water, chemicals, or other materials. 4. Decontaminate any equipment or work areas that may have been in contact with hazardous materials. 5. Leave behind protective clothing, lab coats, gloves, etc., when leaving the laboratory. 6. Close and lock the door to the laboratory if you are the last one to leave. Even after you have identified and controlled all current risks, it is critical that you remain open to the possibility that new unexpected dangers can arise. Carry out weekly inspections on the condition of 1. Fire extinguishers. 2. Emergency wash devices such as eye washes. 3. First aid kit contents. 4. Fume hood and other ventilation devices. 5. Tubing for circulating water, vacuum, and gases. 6. Chemical storage compartments. Safety symbols. Depending upon the research or tests being conducted, a lab can be filled with dangerous chemicals, radioactive substances, biological specimens, sharp instruments, breakable glassware, and flammable objects. Thus, those working in labs need to be keenly aware of the many dangers associated with these items. In order to maintain a safe workplace and avoid accidents, lab safety symbols and signs need to be posted throughout the workplace. Laboratory staff and visitors should note and understand the hazard communication information on the laboratory safety signs, including specific hazardous agents, e.g. biological, chemical, radiological, physical hazards, e.g. lasers, magnetic fields, present in the space, stated precautions, e.g. no food or drink allowed, and required personal protective equipment, e.g. lab coats, eye protection, gloves, etc. Laboratory symbols communicate critical safety information at a glance. These symbols alert personnel to potential hazards and provide guidance on handling materials safely. Key symbols include biohazard, indicates the presence of biological materials that pose a risk to human health. Corrosive, warns of substances that can cause skin burns or damage materials. Flammable, alerts to substances that can ignite easily. Toxic, identifies materials that are harmful or fatal if ingested, inhaled, or absorbed. To effectively use laboratory symbols, place symbols prominently on containers, equipment, and storage areas. Educate all laboratory users on the meaning of each symbol and the precautions required. Ensure symbols conform to international standards, such as those established by the Globally Harmonized System, GHS.